All right, first case I'm calling in this afternoon's docket is the case of R.L.M. Properties versus Anna Galloway and Dallas Stasek, file 21-23302LT. Also identify yourself for the record, please.
This is Dallas Stasek.
All right, Mr. Mishik, you are muted, so
There we go. Again, Mike Mishik, I'm the attorney for R.L.M. Properties LLC. Its managing member is also present, Ron Lapham.
Okay, and do we have Mr. Stasek? Is Ms. Galloway with us today or with you today?
We're not together anymore, sir.
Okay. Katrina, is Anna Galloway on the in the virtual waiting room?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and there's no one in the courtroom, and I believe there's probably no one in the court lobby. I just was looking out that way.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Stasek, you're planning on representing yourself today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, today's time and date then set for the summary proceedings action. I show Mr. Mishik, this is regarding property located at 1602 Haley Street. Do I have the correct address?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stasek, do I have the right address?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mishik, I show this is a termination as well as a request for a money judgment. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
What is the amount of the money judgment requested?
The amount at this time, Your Honor, is damages of $10,925, costs of $358, with a total of $11,283, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Stasek, do you agree that you were renting the property from the plaintiff R.L.M. Properties?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree you're behind in rent?
Definitely.
All right, and the amount, the date stated, the $10,925 sound accurate?
Yes, sir.
All right, they're asking for you to move out. Are you still in the property?
I am.
Okay. Is there a reason why I shouldn't grant the request?
No, I agree with him. I mean, that's way past due. There's nothing, it's pretty much set in stone. I owe money and it's way past, and I understand how he feels.
Okay. Well, then I will grant the money judgment in the amount of $10,925 plus $358 in costs. Total amount of the money judgment, $11,283. The writ date will be June 21st. So, Mr. Stasek, you have until the 21st to move out. If you do not, at that point, Mr. Mishik's client could seek a writ to have the police assist them in obtaining possession of the property.
Okay, yeah, I'm working with Homes to Stay right now, and they're going to be making the difference. They're going to be paying the difference for me.
Okay, well, the issue is though, the landlord is saying that they don't want to work with you anymore, so you're gonna have to be looking for.
I just wanted to let them know.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And anything else we need, Mr. Mishik, from your perspective?
Your Honor, I noticed on paragraph 4B, I put 6/18/2021. Should I revise that in?
6/21, yes.
And I can
typically the way we run our hearing dates, it ends up being a weekend. So we need to make it to the next following Monday.
And may I simply email that to your assistant or to the clerk?
75civil@co.midland.mi.us.
And the other one, sorry, I guess I would check the consent box because it sounds like there's nothing at issue here.
Yes, the consent box, or you could do the hearing box, either way.
Hearing box. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. We're
Next case. All right, Mr. Stasek, we're all set, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
all done, Mr. Lapham.
All right, the next file is BZN Management LLC versus Daniel and Teresa O'Hara. This is file 21-23300LT. Counsel, identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Andrew Thompson on behalf of the plaintiff in this matter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amy Mylink.
Oh,
I'm
good.
representing the O'Haras I'm with Legal Services of Eastern Michigan.
All right, thank you. The O'Hara's here. I've got a lot of boxes, so there we go. I do
Yes,
see.
Your
Dana.
Honor.
We're here.
All right, today's time and date set for a termination hearing. Ms. Smilek, have you and Mr. Thompson talked about this case, and has there been a resolution, or is there any benefit to having you and Mr. Thompson speak in a breakout room before we start the hearing?
We have talked, and I have talked with the O'Haras about the situation. The only question was whether the eviction moratorium would apply to them. I know this is a termination of tenancy. They are behind on rent. And there's some presumption that if it's a termination of tenancy related to being behind on rent, that the moratorium would apply to them. I know that only goes through June 30th. So that's the only indication I would have, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. It looks as if there is a request, Mr. Thompson, for a money judgment.
There is, Your Honor, although rent has been caught up somewhat since the case was filed. The current outstanding amount that would be through the writ date would be through the writ date of the 21st of June would be $826.14 in unpaid rent, with court costs of $267.42. So the money judgment sought is in the amount of $1,093.56. The termination, Your Honor, this case was, the lease in this case expired on April 4th, and a 30-day notice was sent on the same date with a date for the tenants to be out of May 4th. And so
is this a month? Was there a provision in the contract then for a month to month after the expiration?
I believe that's the case, Your Honor, although I don't have it in front of me right now.
Okay. What would the money judgment amount be if I made the writ date July 1st?
Give me one moment to pull that up, and I should be able to do that calculation.
I think it's cheaper than making law.
That's fair. Let me get to the right place here. Your Honor, if I could ask, Ms. Plumley is present in the courtroom and would possibly be able to give me that number quicker than I could run the calculation myself if she is able to do so.
Plumley, if you would mind unmuting yourself.
Yes, Your Honor. Jennifer Plumley here.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Is
Instead
it?
of June. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Mr. Thompson. Ask your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was just going to ask, what is the monthly rent for the property?
Let me see here. It is, I'm going to just grab this exact because they $1,180 a month.
So, Mr. Thompson, if we got to that, if you did not prorate it, but added $38 to the non-proration date, that would make the July 1st number, I believe.
It should get us to $1,180, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do
that's-
is make the money judgment. Well, it'd be yes, $1,180 plus the $267.42. Unless Ms. Milek, there's a disagreement regarding the money judgment portion.
No,
All right. So the money judgment portion, Mr. and Mrs. O'Hara, that you still owe, even though you'll have to move out, the total is $1,447.42, but you will have until July 1st. All right. Thank you. We'll be dismissed on this case. Mr. Thompson, if you would submit a copy to Ms. Mylink for her review for form. To the form of the document, and then submit it to the courts. I will sign it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I will do so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. and Ms. O'Hara, we're all set on your case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It looks like Mr. Thompson's client has already left. Next file is the case of Alberto Laveran versus Nitin Amesi, file 21-23301LT. Counsel, identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Andrew Thompson on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, and Mr. Emersy, could you unmute yourself, please? If you're using a computer, probably the space bar gets you there. There we
Yeah,
go.
I got it. My name is Nitin Amersi.
All right, Mr. Emersy, you representing yourself today, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, I show this regarding property located at 5901 Woodview Pass. Do I have the correct address?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it looks as if your client is seeking a money judgment as well as possession termination.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the amount of the money judgment?
Unpaid rent in the amount of $19,617.14 with court costs of $323.39 for a total amount of the money judgment of $19,940.53.
All right. Mr. Emersy, do we have the right address, the 5901 Woodview Pass?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay. Looks as if there was an arrangement. Mr. Thompson, is this an arrangement where the contract has expired?
This is a case where we actually were here on an eviction last year, Your Honor, and the court entered judgment. The landlord elected to give Mr. Amersy an opportunity, even after that judgment, to stay in the property and continue to make payments. He hasn't caught up sufficiently to get us to the point where the landlord's basically just sort of given up working with Mr. Amersy at this point because he hasn't seen any progress.
All right. Mr. Emersy, you understand that the lawsuit is asking not only for that you owe the money to pay, but also that you will move out.
Yes, I do.
You understand that?
Yes. I did speak to the landlord this morning, and he said he would give me 30 days to get caught up or move out.
Okay. Well, that's not what the lawsuit is saying. So
No, I understand that. And he did indicate that there would be Mr. Josh Birch, who would, from A.O. Reinhardt, who would be here to discuss that.
Okay. So do you dispute the amount of money that you owe, or is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. And so you believe you're making other arrangements. Realize, though, that the money judgment amount and the writ date, which is currently set for June 21st, that your landlord could still ask for the writ on the 21st, regardless of what you're stating on the side. But I guess I leave that up to you and your relationship with the landlord.
Could I ask that it be extended to 30 days, the writ?
I guess the question, Mr. Thompson, is for your client.
I would defer to Mr. Birch on this, who is present on behalf of the landlord as the property manager.
Hello, Josh Birch from Maryland. So we are willing to give 30 days to get caught up in an agreement in place, but it has to be paid in full or the writ will be filed.
All right. So the writ date now will be July 9th.
Right.
Okay. Based upon that, it sounds as if there's an agreement between the parties for that. The writ date will be July 9th, 2021. However, I suspect, though, I am right now just doing the amount on the documentation for determination. Probably rent is re-upped in July, but I leave that between the parties to make their own determination.
Right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So,
Thank you, sir.
all right. We'll be adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next file is the case of Marion Smith versus Donald and Teresa Crawford. This is file 21-23298LT. Do I have Miss Marion Smith here? And if you could please identify yourself for the record.
Marion Smith.
And do I have Donald or Teresa Crawford with us this afternoon? I see Teresa. You're going to have to unmute yourself. And I see Miss Milik's got her hand in the air.
And Your Honor,
Ms.
I am,
Milik, please appearance.
yes, I am appearing on behalf of Teresa Crawford only on this case. And Miss Crawford is in the courtroom or in the room today.
We'll call it the courtroom since that's what it seems to be. Ms. Crawford, do you think Mr. Donald Crawford will be with us today, or is he with you right now?
He is not with me. I left him on April 26th.
Ah, okay. Didn't mean to bring up a sore spot. I just meant sometimes people are just off the camera and I can't see them. So
No,
that's what
that is okay. I found out yesterday that the notice was posted on the property.
Okay.
So he
And
will
you're not-
consider himself not served. So he will not show.
You're no longer at 31 West Birchview, right?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Milik, did you talk with Ms. Smith regarding the judgment?
I have not. Ms. Smith is a landlord I've not worked with in the past. I have talked with Ms. Crawford, and as she has indicated, she's been out of the property for about 6 weeks. I understand that, so she has no problem with the lease being terminated at all. She has no plans to return. She understands that Ms. Smith has asked for a money judgment, and we have discussed what that means. Ms. Smith or Ms. Crawford is obviously concerned that she would be responsible for rent after she left, but we have discussed all of the issues regarding that. So,
Ms. Smith, what is the amount of money that you're asking? And the amount without the court costs added in, I have to add that in separate. So what is the amount?
Okay. Excluding June would be 4,100. No, this one, it's in there. 4,125. Are you sure? Yep, it's 4,125.
4,125. That excludes June's rent?
Correct. And Teresa never told me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
She never told me that she moved out. Every time I tried talking to them, they just ignore it. So I had no idea that she moved out.
No.
Okay.
And I did that because I did not need him to know. And I am sorry. I have literally had no contact with anybody down there because I did not want him harassing anybody. And you know how he can be. So I am sorry, Marion. Very, very deeply sorry. I do not want you to not get paid. Honest to God. I'm
So
nothing like that.
So Ms. Milik, I know that you represent Ms. Crawford. I have no idea whether or not the amount she disputes or not. It does not sound like it exclude rent for June. So it sounds as if the money is a little bit less than what it could have been. Are you disputing, or does your client dispute the 4125 plus costs?
no, the amount that we have talked about that, and that is the amount that she understands that they do owe.
Okay. So Ms. Smith, I will issue an order giving you a money judgment against Teresa Crawford only because it was posted, which means that I could not order one against Mr. Crawford because he wasn't served. The amount will be $4,125 plus $130 for the filing fee, $60 for the service fee. So the total amount of the money
Your
judgment is
Honor?
$4,000. Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't served either. My mother got
Yes,
a
but-
threatening phone call from him. That's how I found out.
Yes, but you appeared in
Yes,
court.
I know.
So it's $4,315 total, and the writ date will be June 21st, 2021, which means, Ms. Smith, you can ask for, and you'll need to get a writ after June 21st.
So I have the email from the girl that served it, that I paid $60 for, said she served it. And I know Don told me in emails, that he's
Well,
not gonna.
hang on just a second. Michaela, do you have the file pulled up? Do we have proof of service of physical, personal service on Mr. Donald Crawford?
It looks like both of them were posted, not personally. Both of them say they were both posted. One was on 5/15 at 7:20 PM, and so was the other one as well. And it says service by attachment.
So personal service was not effectuated against Donald. If at some point in time you wish to try to get a money judgment against him, you would have to personally serve him. Right now, you have a money judgment only against Teresa.
What about the eviction?
The eviction is gonna, the eviction, it has a writ date of June 21st.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
After June 21st, you can seek a writ of eviction. All right, we'll be adjourned on this case at this time. Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you,
thank
Ms.
you.
Crawford. Thank you, Ms. Smith. The next case I'm calling is the case of Tracy Bechtel versus Michael Tomzak. This is file 21-23299 LT. Do we have Ms. Bechtel? If you could please unmute yourself.
Hello,
State your
Hello.
name for the record.
Tracy Bechtel.
And Mr. Tomzak, will you please unmute yourself? Yours is probably going to be a *6 if you're on a phone. No, can't hear you yet. *6 if you hit, there you go. Can you state your name?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Michael
Can you tell me your
Tomzak.
name? All right.
Michael
Mr.
Tomzak.
Tomzak, you're representing yourself today, Mr. Tomzak?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This is I show regarding property located at 7408 Columbine. Do I have the right address, Ms. Bechtel?
Yes,
Do I have the right address, Mr. Tomzak?
Yes.
Okay. The way that I'm looking at this, because I presume, Ms. Bechtel, you do not own the Columbine property, or do you own it, or are you renting it?
I own my mobile home in a mobile home park.
Okay. And it looks like you just want Mr. Tomzak out.
Yes,
Okay. Mr. Tomzak, she just wants you out. Is there a legal reason why I shouldn't grant her request?
No, I'm going to be out of there on Sunday.
All right. Then I'll order, I will give until the 21st for you to, if you're not out, then Ms. Bechtel can seek a writ and have the police help her obtain security of her property, meaning that you would be taken out of the property, but it would be even better if you're out by Sunday. All right, we'll be adjourned on this case.
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we're 2 minutes ahead of schedule, it looks like. Beth?
Did you just call me Beth?
Sorry, I did. Michaela, sorry. All right, sorry, Michaela. Let's see if we can, we'll wait 2 minutes and then start that caseload. Don't see Mr. Thompson still with us. Did that case get resolved, Michaela?
Not to my knowledge. I still see it on. I will go ahead and shoot an email over right now.
Yeah, I would be surprised. He probably just forgot we had both at 1 and 1:30. I'm not seeing Mr. Garda either. I see Mr.
Your Honor?
Geisler. Yes.
I do have Rhonda Sampler here. I'm going to open the courtroom.
Okay. I was waiting until we got a match. Looks like we have one. It sounds like, so Mr. Geisler's case here. We'll call it in a minute. Ms. Milik, are you placing any appearance on that you know of on any of the 130 files?
Yes, I am on the Sampier file and the James Smith.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sampier, will you come on up to one of these green chairs? Is the computer on that you can see? All right, if you would, please touch the lower right-hand corner of that television screen or that monitor. Nope, the monitor itself will have a button to turn it on so you can see everything up close. Should be a button right in the lower right-hand corner. Did you get it?
No,
Well, it's okay if you don't. You can watch it on the big screen. You do have.
it's not coming on.
Okay. Well, you can watch on the big screen. Up over.
Oh, there it goes.
There we go. Should be the same thing as on the big screen. It's just a lot easier if it's just a couple of feet away. Plus, it keeps your face towards the microphone, so that's helpful. 'Cause
Okay.
people, you look up, then I can't hear them when they talk.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to call the case then of Science City versus Rhonda Sampier, file 21-23250 LT. Would the attorneys please identify themselves for the record?
Colin Geisler, P69024, on behalf of the plaintiff in this matter.
Amy Mylink, Legal Services of Eastern Michigan, on behalf of Rhonda Sampier.
All right, I show this time and date set for hearing regarding this property located at 3818 Mercury Court, site number 200. Do I have the correct address and site location, Mr. Geisler?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
All right, Ms. Mylink, do we have the correct address, or would you like me to ask Ms. Sampier if I've got the correct address?
You can ask her, I'm pulling it up, 3818 Mercury Court. Yeah.
She's saying we got the right address.
Yeah.
Okay, so I show this to be a summary proceedings action. Ms. Mylink, have you had any opportunity to talk with Mr. Geisler about a resolution in the case?
I have not. I've been in contact with Ms. Sampier and actually just at 1 o'clock received the worksheet from Home to Stay on the amounts that they can pay. So this has been processed, and I'm, if we can confirm the amounts, I can get a judgment or consent order drafted so we can get this entered.
Well, let's find out. Mr. Geisler, what is the amount of rent to retain possession of the property?
It's $2,209.69, $170 in court costs, $2,379.69. My client, Stacy Chaplow, is present. I just want to confirm that those are the correct numbers in her file. Thumbs. Oh, okay. That's the amount. The total will be $2,379.69.
Does that match the amounts, Ms. Mylink, for Home to Stay?
I am trying to pull that up right now. They actually have past due of, yes, 2,200. They have 2,279 with late fees.
Okay.
Okay, but the court costs, so it changed to $2379.69.
Right, but under the, I think Miss Capello, sorry if pronouncing that wrong, under the SARA program, court costs would be limited to $150, which would be reflected in the consent order.
Okay. So do you know, Mr. Geisler, if your client is participating with SARA program and willing to accept the amounts provided by the SARA program and doing a consent judgment with the dismissal?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Do we have an agreed upon date then? I don't know how close we're in. You said you just found out at 1 o'clock, Ms. Mylink. Do we know?
I can get an order over to Mr. Geisler or whoever he designates today without any problem. It won't take me long to draft that. So.
Okay.
Right. So if the two of you do that, I'm going to do that without a writ date because of not knowing when the monies will be set in place. Plus, it's going to be a conditional dismissal. All that means, Ms. Sampier, is that Home Stay is going to pay, get you caught up, and then the case would be dismissed once everything has been set. You probably will have some things that you need to do, but you need to be in contact with Home to Stay and Ms. Mylink, and she'll describe that.
Yeah, they told me I'd still have to pay the pet fees and stuff.
Okay, well, that'll be up to you,
And late
but
charges.
make sure you follow up. All right, we're all
Okay.
set for today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just
Ms.
want to
Mylink, do you need
confirm I have contact for Mr. Geisler, and should I send it directly to you, or is there somebody else at
Actually,
the firm?
You know what? I would say send it to.
You're all set.
Okay, thanks.
If you would send it to Brianna Kingsley. Do you have her email?
I do not, and she did not appear to have one on the state bar the last
Okay.
time I looked.
It's, I'll just send you a DM chat with her email in it, just to you.
Okay, I don't know if we can do that through the court proceedings.
Oh, no, I guess not. It's BKING.
Your Honor, wait, one second. Would you like me to put them in a breakout room?
Yeah, once you put a breakout room, then you can just say it right up.
Sure. And then I'll leave. Thank you, Judge.
Oh, wait, just a
Have a
minute.
good week.
Thank you.
I'll leave after the breakout room then.
Okay. Ms. Milik, you gonna come back in?
Yes.
All right. Calling a case of Affordable Housing Alliance versus Sabrina Wolf, file 21-23272LT. Counsel, identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Andrew Thompson on behalf of Affordable Housing Alliance.
Do we have Ms. Wolf with us this afternoon, Katrina?
No, Your Honor, no one is in the virtual waiting room, and I do not see anybody in the courthouse lobby.
All right. Well, today's time and date set for summary proceedings action. Notice is given by personal service. The defendant has failed to appear. This looks to be, is it for a money judgment as well as a possession judgment, Mr. Thompson?
It is, although, Your Honor, the defendant did make a substantial payment on the rent. And so the money judgment portion would actually be covered by what she's already paid. So it's just the rent through the writ date. I'm sorry, the rent through the end of the month, through the end of June, outstanding would be $24.99 with court costs of $192.34 for a total amount of the total amount of the possession judgment to be $217.33. And at this time, the money judgment would actually be covered if she leaves on the writ date.
Okay, so writ date will be June 30th then.
Yes.
Ms. Milik, the Sabrina Wolf was in pro per, pretty much was caught up in the rent. So we're setting the writ date for June 30th. I don't know if she'd made contact with you or not, but it sounded like she paid all but $24.99. So she's caught up with except for the costs. Because I think you said you were appearing on the James Smith, behalf of Mr. James Smith. All right. So we'll be adjourned on that case. We are now calling the case of Valley Rentals LLC versus James and Ekalika Smith. Counsel, identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Judge. John Garde appearing on behalf of Plaintiff Valley Rentals.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amy Mylink, Legal Services of Eastern Michigan. I'm appearing only on behalf of James Smith.
All right. Katrina, do we have anyone else in the virtual waiting room that has not appeared yet?
No, Your Honor.
There's no one in the courtroom. Is there anyone in the lobby, Michaela?
Your Honor, I do not have VI.
Ah, it's too bad.
No, Your
That
Honor.
does, so. All right. We want to make the determination, at least for her, there could be defaults, but Ms. Milik, if you reach an agreement with Mr. Garda regarding James Smith.
We've not had a chance to talk. I just received the worksheet from, I haven't even had a chance to talk to Mr. Smith about this yet. I received the worksheet from Home to Stay yesterday afternoon. And so it shows that he's eligible for past due rent of $13,600. I don't know if that is the correct amount. Doesn't look like there's late fees.
Let me find out from Mr. Garday. Mr. Garday, this looks like a money judgment as well as possession judgment. So why don't I find out the amount to retain possession?
Yes, Your Honor. To retain possession, the rent is indeed $13,600, and that's through the end of June.
Okay. And
So
that
again,
would
I
then
can have an order prepared for that and to you, Mr. Gaidai, today. He is also eligible for 3 months of future rent. So this will stabilize the situation for him.
And is that would that be a consent order for dismissal?
Yes.
Okay. I presume Mr. Hall is here on behalf of Valley Rentals. Would
Yes,
that be
Your
correct?
Honor.
Okay. All right, well, if it's going to be a consent order then, I will let the parties then draft it. I will sign the order once it's been submitted.
That sounds
All right,
good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We'll be adjourned.